The Great Katana being a powerful weapon is not surprising at all. Taking one of the best weapon classes and making it bigger is an obvious and straightforward way of making something great. I found this weapon to be not only one of the best, but one of the most versatile weapons in all of Elden Ring. The Great Katana is accessible the second you step into Gravesite Plain. West of the bridge to Castle Ensis, there's a lake with a sleeping ghost flame dragon in the middle. You can ride up and grab the Great Katana lying right in front of him. Much like attendance at my Chem 101 lectures freshman year, this dragon boss fight is not required. The Great Katana is the only infusible weapon in its eponymous weapon class. It makes for a nice weapon in strength, quality, and dex builds among many others. For this run, I wanted to be as OP as possible, so I gave it the Cold Infusion. Cold Infusion adds well over 100 frostbite per hit. This inflicts the status on anything vulnerable in no time at all. We still have that blood loss build up too, giving us 2 status effects for our Great Katana. The moveset is what you would expect from an upscaled katana. We have plenty of slash damage moves, along with some that do pierce damage. The running R1, instead of the running R2 on normal katanas, is a piercing thrust attack. The sheer size of this Great Katana makes this poke viable at greater distances than many of its smaller cousins. The Great prefix also means we'll get plenty of power from our R2 attacks. Not only do we get 2 status effects with our charged R2s, we get plenty of poise damage too. We also have a new Ash of War to play with. Coming with our weapon, Overhead Stance is another great stance Ash of War. Hold down the Ash of War button and raise the weapon over your head. From there, use the light or heavy attack. The light attack is a single vertical slice, and the heavy is a triple vertical slash. The light attack is quite a bit faster than using the heavy attack, so this is probably what you'll be using more often. The heavy triple slash takes longer to execute, of course, but we can mitigate some incoming damage with the use of heavy armor. Before we hop into the talisman discussion, be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy the build videos. My goal of getting 2,500 subscribers by the end of the year is fast approaching, and I'd like to thank everyone that's been part of the journey so far. There are 3 different ways we can take our talisman setup. We can do the Ash of War focus, with Rellana's cameo and the Shard of Alexander. We can focus on successive attack power with Millicent's prosthesis and the Rotten Wing Sword insignia. This is rather effective on this build, since only 2 attacks can start up that attack boost. Or we can do the heavy attack focus, with the 2-handed sword talisman and the axe talisman. These setups are all great options, due to the incredible versatility of this weapon. You can also mix and match parts of these setups to adapt perfectly to your playstyle. My personal loadout for the run was Millicent's prosthesis, Shard of Alexander, Dragon Crest Great Shield for the best physical damage negation, and the 2-headed turtle talisman for the best stamina regeneration. We have part magic damage on our weapon since it is cold infused, so I ran with the magic shroud and cracked tier. For our second tier, this is the first time I'm going to be using the blood-sucking cracked tier. This tier will siphon your health and completely kill you if you're not paying attention, but I find the AR boost it gives you and the urgency it forces you to play with to be perfect for this build. Our damage, status effects, and aggressive playstyle will mean the boss is already dead before we even need to think about that health drain. Just be wary of late game fights, DLC fights, and if you're on a higher New Game Plus cycle, so maybe swap it out for something more defensive like the Opaline hard tier. For our stats, we had 60 Vigor, 20 Mind, 35 Endurance, 14 Strength, 56 Dexterity, which will get bumped up to 61 with Millicent's prosthesis, and 49 Intelligence. The Great Katana fits in well with multiple different playstyles. No matter how you want to tackle the game, this huge bleed weapon is likely a solid choice for you.